President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi gave his directives on Tuesday to increase the levels of dependence on local manufacturing in the national project for developing Egypt's rural areas. During his meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, the President also probed the implementation rates of the project, which aims at developing villages nationwide. The head of state was briefed on the investment plan of the upcoming fiscal year, which will see increased government investments. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said on Tuesday Egypt is keenly interested in attracting direct foreign investments in the field of new and renewable energy production. The remarks were made during the President's meeting with the chief executives of an alliance of Belgian companies. For his part, the Belgian official expressed EU's interest in cooperation with Egypt in green energy transmission, storage and production as part of efforts to reduce carbon air pollution levels, given the country's wealth of natural resources and investment-friendly climate. Presidential spokesman Bassam Maradi said the meeting probed the cooperation prospects with the Belgian alliance, which includes DEMI for dredging, the Port of Antwerp Corporation, and the Fluxys Corporation for investments in generating power from green hydrogen. In a separate meeting, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi discussed with the CEO of the Belgian DEMI Group for dredging means of developing El Bardawi Lake in North Sinai. During the meeting, President al-Sisi said that Egypt attaches priority to the national project for the comprehensive development of El Bardawi Lake in the frame of the state's public plan to develop all lakes nationwide. The President pointed out that the Bardawil development project is integrated with a strategy of developing Sinai and has great environmental, social, economic and nutritional impacts by increasing fishing resources as well as providing job opportunities. For his part, the CEO of the Belgian DEMI Group expressed his willingness to cooperate with Egypt in developing the lake, taking into account the expected positive results of the projects due to the lake's unique location on the Mediterranean and its high-quality resources. The National Palestinian Dialogue concluded in Cairo on Tuesday after discussing ways to end inter-Palestinian rifts and guarantee the success of upcoming legislative elections called by Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. In a final communique, the Palestinian factions thanked President al-Sisi for his support of the dialogue.
The National Palestinian Dialogue concluded in Cairo on Tuesday after discussing ways to end inter-Palestinian rifts and guarantee the success of upcoming legislative elections called by Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. In a final communique, the Palestinian factions thanked President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for his support of the dialogue. They said that they had reviewed with high responsibility urgent national issues and risks facing the Palestinian cause and the elections, which would be based on previous Palestinian consensus and agreements. The factions also agreed that the national partnership is a complete path that begins with the elections for the Legislative Council, the first stage of the National Council elections. The two-day dialogue was being held under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi with the participation of 15 Palestinian factions, groups and independent figures.
Upon directives of President al-Sisi, Egypt decided to open its border crossing with the Israeli blockaded Gaza Strip indefinitely, allowing the coastal strip's people's passage to the outside world and supporting them. Gaza residents crossing the Rafah border point expressed a mixture of relief. The Rafah crossing has been largely closed in recent months as part of efforts to rein in the coronavirus pandemic, although it has intermittently opened for short periods. And the Red Sea resort of Hurghada hosted the opening session of the Libyan Constitutional Path meetings on Tuesday. The meeting, the third of their kind, were held under the auspices of the United Nations in the attendance of delegations from the Parliament and the Higher State Council. The head of the High Commissioner for Elections, Ahmed al-Sayeh, also attended the meetings, which aim at discussing mechanisms for holding a referendum on the Libyan constitution. During the opening session, the head of the National Committee concerned with Libyan affairs stressed on the significance of capitalizing on positive atmosphere currently witnessed in Libya, namely the new executive authority and the outcome of the 5+5 military committee. In his first official appearance, new UN envoy Jan Kubis thanked Cairo for supporting the political solutions in Libya and hosting the constitutional path. Kubis described the meeting as important as it directly impacts the Libyan citizens through agreement on the form of the referendum desired. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said on Tuesday that he watched the arrival of Hope probe to Mars, which is considered an unprecedented step in the field of scientific research, which heralds a scientific renaissance in the Arab region. The head of state greeted the UAE's leadership, people and all its geniuses who planned and designed the experiment in an attempt to create a new reality despite of all current challenges. The president added that this mission is a part of our ambitions in exploring new horizons in our big world. This came as the United Arab Emirates' first mission to Mars reached the red planet and entered orbit on Tuesday after a 7-month, 494 million kilometer journey, allowing it to start sending data about the Martian atmosphere and climate, and this makes the UAE the 5th space agency to reach the planet. The Mars program is part of the UAE's efforts to develop its scientific and technological capabilities and reduce its reliance on oil.